is kind of the presentation to start your nutrition for the New You Challenge, okay? Hopefully you all have, took a peek at the Paleo plan, the Paleo guide, and that's great. We're gonna break it down for you week by week in a weekly email, but this can be really useful to just kind of jumpstart it, okay? So this is an outline of the 3 phases, basically, that people who are learning Paleo go through. Okay, I'm gonna go through each one. So this first one here, I'm gonna call it the quality phase. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to improve the quality of the types of foods we're eating. Okay, this is the first pyramid on the left here you should be familiar with. It's called the SAD pyramid, for Standard American Diet. Okay, bread, rice, cereal, pasta, vegetables, fruits, dairy, meats, fats, and sugars. Okay, this is what we've been taught and we grew up with. I'm going to suggest to you that there's an alternative, and that might be a little better, and you'll see this in the book. This is the Paleo framework. It's also the evolutionary framework. Paleo is just a reference to a particular period where we believe that our diets were more evolutionarily based. Okay, so it's meat and vegetables at the foundation, fruits on the next layer, a little bit of starches, nuts and berries, and there's actually no spot for sugar on the pyramid. Okay, and that's the biggest change, is that the sugars we have in the Standard American diet are causing us a lot of problems. Okay, so the idea for you guys, and this is the whole thrust of the shopping list section of the Paleo guide and the meal plan section, is to start moving from this to this, to start improving the quality of your foods. Okay, and at no point in this phase is there counting. Okay, so we're not counting calories. We're not trying to, restrict ourselves in quantity. We're just focused on the quality. Okay, and that could be a big change if some of you have done diets before. Okay, this could go on for at least a period of 3 months, I'd say. Okay, so if you've never done anything for your diet before, or this is completely brand new to you, this is going to be it. Okay, if you've done this before, or you have some familiarity with dieting, then maybe we'll get into phase 2. Okay, I call phase 2 awareness. Okay, so you're already starting to improve the quality of your diet. Now we're going to develop an awareness of quantities, basically, because it can be useful. Okay, the same way you're doing a baseline weigh-in and all that, we can do some tracking of our food. So the Paleo guide is a part of that awareness, just what food should I do. And then this is an app, it's called MyFitnessPal. I recommend you download it for your iPhone or Android. And it's a food tracking software that we like that's really good, that'll get you guys aware of where are my proteins coming from, where are my carbs coming from, where are my fats coming from. Okay, and you'll start to be able to get a sense of, what foods am I eating and how they contribute. Okay. The third layer is the macros, okay? So protein, fat, and carbs are macronutrients, and that's what we actually need to keep track of the most, more than total intake or calorie intake, okay? And so that's what this is outlining here. So this is counting macros. Okay, so at some point, you will find it helpful and beneficial to start counting your macros, okay? Maybe not right at the beginning, but if you're ready, or in 3 to 6 months you're ready, then that's going to be the next layer that'll help you a lot. Okay. This is an example of zone diet. Okay, and this is actually the baseline prescription for what CrossFit does. They teach it at the certification. We find it's pretty good. It's not absolute. There's some flexibility in it. Okay, but it's a good start. The ratios are based on energy, but it's 30% of your energy from protein, 40% from carbohydrates, 30% from fat. Where this will deviate depending on your unique body and circumstances will be, sometimes we'll cut the carbs down and the fat will go up proportionately, basically. Okay, if we have more weight to lose, usually the carbs will be a little lower and the fat will be a little higher. Okay, but it'll never just all drop together. Okay, I'll just quickly run through this example here just so you have a practical takeaway of how this applies. Okay, one thing we need to keep in mind is that protein has 4 kilocalories per gram, so do carbohydrates, but fat has 9. Okay? So in the balance, we're working on calories, but ultimately we're going to be counting grams or macronutrient grams. Okay? So this is an example here we need to know our lean mass in order to do this, okay? And that's why we recommend you guys check out the body composition test you can do next weekend through Fitness Way. We'll send you guys the link. We're having long story short, we're having a dunk tank truck come out, and it gives an accurate body composition measurement, which will give you your body fat and your lean mass, okay? With the lean mass, this is the most important number you need to know. Every day, all of you, for your fitness and health, should be shooting for about 1 gram, 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per pound of lean mass, okay? This is an example of Susie. Susie weighs 200 pounds. She did her body fat percentage. It was 30%, okay? From that, we can figure out, if 70% is your lean body weight, then 140 pounds of you is lean, 60 pounds will be fat mass, okay? And then it's just 1 to 1. So for Susie, 140 pound lean mass, she would be shooting for 140 grams of protein per day, okay? The carbs would be a little higher, so it would be 140, let's call it 160 to 170, okay? And the fat will be 4/9 of the protein, okay? So whatever that is, because it's 30% and 30%, but we're balancing on an energy basis. So it'd be 140 times 4, 460 divided by 9. I think that's about 50, yeah. 50 grams, okay? So this is an example of a macronutrient goal that you have each day that you could then track with your food tracking app, okay? And so every day you would be balancing your diet, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ultimately trying to hit these targets, okay? This is just an example. You can apply it to yourself if you know your body weight. We measure your body fat percentage somehow, your body composition, and then we have a macronutrient goal, okay? For a lot of people, question?
Sorry, is this all, you said this will be sent weekly, this formula or breakdown?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because it's a lot of information.
Right.
Okay.
So again, for most people who are new, we won't even get to this necessarily in application during the challenge, but it'll be an awareness of what the future holds in store. Okay, great question. Also, the zone diet is daily fixed percentages, but some diets offer more flexibility where it'll be varying throughout the week. So your daily goals could be fixed, or they can change. Some plans even will have you budget for, you have a party on the weekend that you don't have control over, but on a weekly basis, we can kind of average it out to make sure it's in line still. All right? Does that make sense? Any other questions?
Like for the Paleo one, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm kind of hot, just add protein to it instead of the meat, substitute that for?
Add protein?
I mean, for the Paleo, for the meat, should I use fine substitute?
Oh, so if you're doing vegetarian, you mean? Yes, so if you're doing vegetarian, we still want to hit our protein no matter what, but using vegetarian sources is fine. So if you eat eggs, that's good, it's still vegetarian. If you make exceptions for fish, that's okay too. If you want to rely on protein supplements, like powders, you can do that if that's in line with it. You can use tofu too, however, it's not ideal of a protein source. It doesn't have as much biological availability, it's called. But whatever works for you to meet your protein goals. Ultimately, we would like the quality to move towards a paleo framework, but if you're hitting the numbers and still eating, whole foods or natural foods, you can do well still. Okay, so it's not absolute. Good question. Any other questions?
So how do I know what my
Right, so I was just mentioning you need to do either a dunk tank or hydrostatic test, which is what we're having Fitness Wave come out and do next Sunday. Okay, and you can sign up for that through the link we're going to post, and they'll do a very accurate test that'll give you your lean mass, your fat mass, your percentages, and they'll also even help you with some goal setting too. Okay, there are other ways to do it. There's a little electrical devices called bioelectrical impedance that aren't super accurate, but they are precise, which means that they'll measure change well. Okay, you can also do skin calipers. Okay, it takes some training to do that. That's another way to do it also. Okay.
For the one next Sunday, there's a fee for that?
Yes, so it's $80 for beginning and end. So for next Sunday, and then 6 weeks later on October 23rd, they'll be doing it also. right, any other questions? All right, well, I'll just say one last thing. The magic is in action. The magic is in the doing. So learn this all you want, as much as you can, but get to the grocery store. Start making some changes. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time through. It doesn't have to be perfect at any point, but if we start taking action, we're gonna start seeing results right away. Even if, I had that one day that week or 2 days or even the whole week I kind of fell off, if I keep moving forward, you're gonna see progress, and we're gonna keep this conversation going to make sure you guys are guided toward the right stuff. All right? All right, thank you all for your attention. I'm very excited to get you started. We're so excited to get you started. And you'll get an email from us tomorrow with the first week's breakdown of paleo stuff and a preview of the workouts and everything we're gonna be doing each week.
What do you recommend eating before work? Because my class is at 7, so it's kind of like 7 in the evening. What is a good thing?
So you can have a full meal that, if it's a good framework, up to 2 hours before probably, and then a snack up to an hour, 30 minutes before. To be honest though, all the workouts we do are pretty short compared to we're not doing an hour workout, we're doing some practice of movement and then a 10 to 15 minute focused workout. And even if you're on an empty stomach, you'll get through it fine. Okay, we just want to make sure in the balance that we're fueling our body's performance. You can even go if we're not trying to do some people do we need to do 6 or 7 meals a day or snacks all the time. You don't even need to do that. As long as you're hitting this stuff in the long run and you're having balanced meals, you're going to be fine. All right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you for your attention. If you need to get on your baseline stuff still, go ahead. Otherwise, you may be on your way to a lovely weekend.